Before we get started, we have some old friends that we need to say goodbye to. So let's all wave goodbye. Bye-bye, Chris Priest. Bye-bye, Chris Fletcher. Bye-bye, Paul Johnson. And bye-bye, lots more who weren't good enough for me to even commit their names to memory. You'll be sorely missed, and thank you very much for your assistance in getting us this far. You will not be forgotten. Hello and welcome to part 17 of the Bolton battle. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the first game of the new season at home against Oxford City in the Conference National, and we're pushing for a promotion spot this season. We've told the board we're looking for mid-table, but we want at least the playoffs. That's got to be what we're aiming for this year. We've got loads of money in the bank, mainly because we've sold a lot of season tickets. We were down to about 300,000 at the end of last season, but selling 7,000 season tickets at this level is quite handy for the old bank balance. So that's shot back up to a respectable level, although the projection still looks horrific. I don't see how that can take the season tickets into account, because we're well within our wage budget. We've hardly spent any of the transfer budget as well. Been very frugal this summer, very selective with the players we've brought in. That being said, there's still absolutely loads of them, mainly because there was a whole bunch of them who came in. Why are we back? Hold on, wrong season. This bunch here all came in on the 1st of June. These were players who were supposed to come in last summer, but for some reason they delayed for a year, and I don't know why. So none of them have played a game in the last year, so they might be completely rubbish. They're all players for the future, including a young Brazilian signed from Man City called Daniel, who, if we'd have had him a year ago, would have been excited about, but he's had a year where he's not developed. It says he was here last year. He wasn't. He came in June. So just silly. So we can kind of ignore those lot, because they've all just gone straight into the under-21s. In fact, Viv Lillygreen I released as soon as he arrived because we didn't want him. Don't need left-backs. We don't play with full-backs. So first time we've actually built a squad around the system that we're going to play with, a 3-5-2. You can see the couple of players that we've let go. Chris Priest actually went for money to Barrow in League 2. Johnson went to League 2, Dagenham and Redbridge as well. Ben Probert's finally moved on. Alan Foley left on a free transfer. So there's a few names that you would recognise on there probably. Is Fletcher still at the club? I said bye-bye to him, but he's not actually on there. So Fletcher's probably still knocking around in the under-21s. Certainly not in the squad anymore. As we've done in previous seasons, because we've brought in like 8-9 players, we're not going to meet them all today. I'm going to show you one guy, Gary Albinson, our new club captain, 24-year-old centre-back, who we've signed for money from League One team Blackburn. He played 9 games for Blackburn last season, but we've brought him in and made him captain because he's a Bolton youth player. Played over 100 games for Bolton already before moving on, playing league football since pretty much for Torquay and Blackburn. So we've actually been able to bring him in on a decent contract. We're only paying him just under £1,000 a week. It's cost us just under 10,000. He's come straight in, given him the captain's armband, and he's the only player we felt the need to spend any money on. And this is what our squad looks like now. Because a few people have said that they're familiar with the team, but they're not really sure what we've got in the way of a squad. So just having a look through what we've got in each position really very quickly. As goalkeeping options, we've got Eggs and Dion Talbot, who is another player who's come through our youth system. Had a season out on loan at Atkinson Stanley last year. He's almost as good as Eggs already. The problem is he doesn't want to sign a new contract, and he's out of contract at the end of the season, so we're probably never going to see the best of Talbot. And Eggs will remain our number one for this season. I didn't realise quite how much potential Eggs has as well, so he might be around for a good few years yet. Our defensive options, we've got. In fact, if we just narrow this down just to centre-backs, we'll have a look at the wing-backs in a minute. These are our 5 centre-back options. So quite a few new faces there. The only 2 who survived from last season were Grayson and Curtis. 3 new players coming in. Kenny Dodge, Darren McCormick, and, as previously mentioned, Gary Albinson. McCormick actually comes in from League 2, I think, as well. So he's played lots of league football. I said this was the kind of player we wanted to bring in. Players with Football League experience. Kenny Dodge. He comes in again, lots of League 2, League 1 experience with Burton, so they're going to be valuable assets. And I think our back three is looking pretty impressive this season now. On the wing back side of things, We've still got Andrew Freeman knocking around, and we've brought in a youngster to offer him a little bit of competition and to replace Paul Johnson. 20-year-old Glenn Jennings comes in on a free transfer from Bradford. Never really played for anyone at any point, but he's got bags of potential. He's pretty much as good as Freeman already. And then on the left-hand side, again, we've still got Colin Lamb, but we've brought in Mike Berry, who's a 21-year-old, who was basically brought in, again, as competition for Lamb, but in the pre-season friendlies, as that actually looks like he might probably be our best wing-back at the moment, so he's going to be starting for us on the left-hand side of our defence today. In central midfield, lots of options. Possibly the most exciting signing, Liam Boyle-Chong, who's going to need a name, because I don't know if I can keep calling him Boyle-Chong without just falling over that name every single game. He came in on a free transfer from Coventry, and again, loads of Football League experience and a really, really good, for this level, central midfield player. So he's, decent player for most League Two sides. Exactly the kind of player we wanted to be bringing in. Martin's still around, Finley's still around, and he's now fully trained to be able to play as an attacking midfielder, so it gives us another option in that position as well. Jordan Allen, very much a backup player now, won't play very many games for us this season. Same with Nathan Lawless, who's the lad who came in from Man City last summer, but lots of potential, so we might see a bit more from him. And then we've got Glover and Daniel as further attacking midfield options. We looked at all them. And then lastly, up front, we have Chris Abbott, who scored bags of goals at the end of last season. We managed to get Dave Mitchell on loan for another season, so hopefully he'll also get bags of goals again. Stephen Davis is still here purely because we can't get rid of him. He was on a 2-year contract. No one wants him, so he may as well stick around. That's why we let Chris Priest leave. And we brought these two new lads in. Alan Harrington, 25-year-old, quick forward. Got 10 goals in 31 games in the division below last year, so not pulling up any trees. But again, he's got Football League experience, which is what we were looking for. And Luke Didlick, 24-year-old striker, again with a little bit of Football League experience, played in League One for Birmingham. Lots of experience at this level and lots of goals at this level for Alfreton and Telford, so going to be a good option for us to have there as well. So this is our team for today. We've got Eggs in goal, a back three of Dodge, Curtis and Albinson, Berry and Freeman as our fullbacks, Boyle, Chong and Martin in midfield, with Finley in behind Abbott and Mitchell. Hold on, why have we only got 4 substitutes? What's gone on there? We had 5 subs. It's because we've not got that on. I was going to say, I'm sure we had a 5th substitute when I picked this team just a few minutes ago. So we've got Harrington on the bench, ready to push either of these players out of the team when he gets his opportunity. And Andre Glover is ready and willing to push any of those 3 out as well. We've already got Berry in at wing-back on one side. And Jennings is ready to push Freeman all the way for a starting spot there. And Darren McCormack, having coming in from League Two, is going to be thinking, how on earth am I not starting in defence today? That needs to happen pretty soon, thank you very much. So, all in all, quite a good looking team. They're not fit, for goodness sake. Albinson, not got a squad number yet. There you go, number 14. Our captain, number 14, Gary Albinson. Albinson. Probably going to need to rename him as well, because I can't decide how to say his name. And hopefully, we're going to start the season with a win, because after all that build-up, and I like this squad. I think it's nicely balanced. That's why we've not flooded it with loan players. We've only got Dave Mitchell in on loan, because I'm not really sure where we need to improve. I guess it will become apparent as the season goes on a little bit. But I think that any problem areas we had last season, we've strengthened in. It would be nice to get some real top quality wing backs rather than bringing in ones to challenge the lads we've already got. And it'd be nice to have a better keeper, but I just couldn't find one. So it's Eggs. We've got to make do with Eggs, and he's going to get better. I wish we could find one, but I seriously have spent the last 6 months in game trying to find a keeper who doesn't let things like that happen. I mean, he's not even tried to save that. And after all that build-up and excitement, Eggs goes and lets in a goal like that. We're 1-0 down, and all these new lads who've come in from League One and League Two are thinking, what on earth have we just walked into? What kind of clown have they got in goal? Right, Con, let's go and get a nice quick equaliser. That is a great free ball to Dave Mitchell, who really should have done better with that, but he picks up the rebound and manages to somehow do even worse than he did with the first shot. We should be level at this point because we've had the only clear-cut chance of the game. Abbott now out to Mitchell. Can he get it out to Freeman? He does. Freeman's getting into a crossing position. The cross does come in but doesn't find any of our players. But Boyle Chong puts it back out to Freeman, who's into Abbott, and Abbott opens his account for the new season. First goal of the year. We are level, and Chris Abbott is hopefully just going to pick up where he left off. So Freeman crossing. Look at that. I mean, that's just easy. He has turned into a goal scorer over the last 6 months or so. Look back 4 or 5 episodes, I was mocking him. I was not happy with Chris Abbott at all, and he's really developed into a very good Conference national player, which is very handy. Right, how are we doing on the old stats? I mean, we are absolutely all over, and we should be ahead in this game. And if it wasn't for a terrible goalkeeping lapse from Eggs, we would be. So hopefully we'll allow some of this dominance to come to the fore in the second half. We need to pick up a win in this game, because if we can't win games like this, we can start forgetting about promotion. Right, Finley. I mean, we had a break on there. Why would you stop the highlight? Oh, it makes me angry. Right, we are starting to think about substitutions, because we're not fit, are we? We've played 5 or 6 pre-season games. I don't understand why we're not fit. Have we played too many games, maybe? We've been back for 5 weeks. You'd think we'd be fit by now. But Martin looks shattered. Chris Abbott's tired. I think we're going to see a couple of new faces. Probably around the 68th minute mark, because I like to keep people on their toes. I don't want people to know when the subs are happening. Right, Dave Mitchell's coming off. Not having a good game. So we get to see Alan Harrington for the first time. And we're also going to take off Martin because he was tired. And Glover can come on for him. So Finley can drop back into the midfield, and Glover can tuck in behind the front two. Let's see if Alan Harrington is going to be a new superstar for us. We've given him the number 9 shirt. No pressure or anything, but we're expecting you to be a top striker for us for a few years. And that was very close to putting us behind a game with only 20 minutes to go. And now we have. Oh, we can't lose this game. Oxford City are rubbish. We can't be losing to teams like this, especially not at home, especially when we've dominated the match. And again, Eggs should do better. That is not trying to save anything. That is what you do when there's a fat bass playing. See, I'm down with the kids. Goodness sake. We may as well bring Jennings on for Freeman, see if he's any good then. I mean, we've thrown this away. Look at those stats. They have had 2 shots on target and they're 2-1 up. I don't understand what's happened. How are we not going to win this game? We're at home. I know we've got quite a few new players again, but our tactics still fluid. We've not absolutely flooded the squad with new people. We shouldn't be losing this game. And they're going to get a third. Oh, for goodness sake, they've got a third. I don't understand. I do not understand. It has to be all on Eggs, surely. We said before, I don't know where we need strengthening. Well, it's pretty apparent now. We do need a goalkeeper, but there just isn't one. Oh, do we give Dion Talbot a go? Probably not, because he's not as good as Eggs. But would that be enough to convince him to sign a new contract? Berry's going to get himself sent off on his debut as well. Just to cap off. A lovely day for all concerned. I mean, that is... Oh, for goodness sake, I don't care. Should we stick Eggs out at wing back? There you go. Do what you want. I'm done. Yeah, brilliant. What an anticlimax after all that waffle at the start of the episode. Well, I just want to blow a raspberry, and I know that doesn't make for good audio, so I'm going to wrap things up so I can blow as many raspberries as I want. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.